I watched a few videos today on the right to determination, the right to live, the right to a healthy lifestyle. And basically, that's what's been stolen away from us. And we are trusting. I just got off the phone with TELUS, our phone company, the company that's mailing out my computer, which apparently it's stamped and said to be shipped off, but the company that ships it off doesn't answer their phone for a week now, so they could be bankrupt. This is where we're headed, is when you um, expect, everything to be working, um, and yet it's a domino effect. You know that it's about to crash. There's a lot of people that don't expect it crashing, but I kind of see it crashing. So when I see a company that doesn't answer their phone, I kind of think that they're going bankrupt. Still have some hope there because the phone still rings, but that's where we're all going to be at. Is the next time you go to the food store, you'll find out that there's no food there, and then we'll be like, oh my god, what's going on? What caused this? And the only way you can live this American dream is if you create slaves out of somebody else. If you torture, kill, manipulate, do harm to somebody else. That's how you get rich. That's what it is to be a successful, rich person. I had a comment today on my Tony Robbins video where this guy says, well, where's your call to fame to be able to put down Tony Robbins? And it's like, and the guy's asking me how much money I got. And it's like, that's my point, is okay, you're not going to listen to anything I have to say because my bank account isn't massive. And the only people that are really smart that should be listened to are the guys that have the big bank accounts because they are the smart, intelligent people. So, anybody that's going to question, is Tony Robbins, is his advice going to harm humanity? And somebody says, oh, something he's doing isn't quite right. It's causing a lot of problems. It's causing the dominoes to fall down. And for somebody to say, hey, there's a dominoes coming and it's going to crash you and it's coming because of this guy. He ain't the only guy. There's a lot of guys. But, Tony Robbins read a book and gained his knowledge and his career from a book. So you can always go down the path of what book did he read and whose example, because the guy says you got to have a mentor. So whose mentors did he have? So it's not like Tony Robbins created the whole domino effect. It's the information that we got from our past that's inside all of these books that say these are the facts and you should listen to the facts because I'm a guy who wrote a book and I'm making a lot of money by selling all my books. You're not going to get any money for, you know, making a YouTube channel and saying making money is a bad thing. Everybody wants money. Everybody needs to pay their rent. Everybody needs to buy food. So if I have a channel that says, hey, don't go listen to the guy that's going to get you the money, listen to the girl who's poor and saying, don't go for the money. Because my way doesn't feed your kids and doesn't feed or pay your bills. You know, when I was dealing with the corruption in our Canada system, the government, the economics, the justice system, um, I worked my freaking ass off to the point where I'm on a disability now. I did what I needed to do, like everybody else needed to do, to pay the bills. And while I was there and didn't have enough money to feed my kids, oh, because I needed child support, my children had a father, I was busy paying both responsibilities. I was paying the mother part and the father part. Now, a lot of times of the way I was looking at it is like, okay, just pretend your ex died. And then what would you do? You would have to still pay for both. And that's how I looked at it for most of the part. The problem is that when abusive deadbeats are alive, they have the ability to harass your life to the point where you can't work, you can't do anything, you can't function, you can't even use your mind. And it's perfectly legal. How did this guy do it? Through the court systems. This guy could go to court 20 times in 1 month. If he has the money, he can go in there for any bullshit thing, and I got to show up, and if I got to show up, am I working? Am I getting paid? If I'm getting paid minimum wage and can't pay my rent with the minimum wage, how easy do you think it's going to pay my rent when I'm not even at work because I'm in court for a month? And if that goes on every friggin' month, so, and nothing he says even has to have any validity to it. The biggest weapon against us is our court systems. And if anybody wants to get you, they'll get you through a court. And the courts do not operate on laws that you believe are true. We believe you need to serve people. If you're going to notify them that you're taking them to court, it is legal, it is law that you're supposed to let somebody know. In my case, the guy didn't even let me know. So that's how I ended up paying child support for the children that live in my home, because he could go to court and say, hey, I have no income and all the kids live with me and she's making this much, and then he gets court orders for child support, which you can't change. They think you can change it, but you can't. It took me 4 years to get in front of a judge. And then after I got in front of a judge, I got disciplined for taking too long. Meanwhile, the judge that said I took too long, he's the one that postponed it 3 friggin' times for 3 months every time. So if it took too long, it's because of him. And there was no reason. There was no reason whatsoever for him to postpone anything. He just felt like it. It also was law that if he postponed something and it was 8 years before I've seen any child support, and all the children are in the courtroom and I'm saying I need an interim child support order, this guy said no. A judge said, I am not going to feed your children until I'm good and ready. And that's against the law, because kids need to be fed. And if a judge wants to take forever, then my request for an interim order was legal and there was no reason for him to say no to. After I made some complaints, the guy was forced to give me an interim child support order. But you know what he did? He made the order from like fake income reports from the court case I'm saying was all perjury because he was lying about his income. But the judge decided to use that income as the interim child support instead of the evidence that's being provided for his current income. So the judge was these judges, and it don't matter what country you live in, they don't have to follow the laws, because this is how it works, is they have an opinion. And when they see people come before them, they form their opinions. And then when they form their opinions, before any evidence gets presented, they decide which side they're going to choose, who's going to win. Nobody knows this, but that's what goes on. I'm sure they don't even know they do it themselves, but that's what's going on a subconscious level. So from a subconscious level, they decide what evidence is relevant or not. So anything that's relevant to the guy they want to lose, they'll always say your evidence is not relevant. But the guy that they want to win, all of his evidence is relevant. Who is judging what's relevant and isn't relevant? A friggin' judge that doesn't know how to follow laws. Because they should be in jail if they are not following laws. If you go to a Supreme Court and you end up finding out that a law needs to be changed, then the first judge that you changed his order should be going to jail, because he's conspiring to do criminal acts. He is in partnership with the criminal. But we don't do that because we don't want our judges to follow any laws. Why? Because crime pays. We want all of our system to be all based about crime. And the only time the criminals can get wealthy is if there are some that believe in the law. And as long as you are believing in the law, then they're the ones that they're going to take advantage of you. They'll find you, they'll hunt you out. You don't even have to look for them, they'll find you because you're a sitting duck. They can tell right away, there's a sucker I can take to the bank with. So you're either going to fit in with the system and be a criminal, which is, that's the way all of us are right now, is basically we're all friggin' criminals because we all have to find a way to survive. But when you wake up and you find out the whole system, then you know that you're giving your power away by believing in something that isn't true. The government systems have zero interest in what's right and wrong. And if they have no interest in what's right or wrong, then they do not follow any law. So by you following any law, by you even entering into any courtroom, you're supporting a system that's going to take control of you. It's, don't even walk in the room. You have to give them a document that says you are not a legal system. You cannot tell the difference between right and wrong, and you're prejudiced. You know, and when and if you can provide me with a system that I know for sure will know the difference between right or wrong, you know, then, I wouldn't be telling my case at all. And there is tons of evidence. I mean, lots of websites are out there on how to present a legal document to do this. Holodynamics is an excellent scientific book that you can use as evidence that proves that we formulate our opinions before actually hearing a case. Um, no judge can take away his subconscious mind. And as long as he has a subconscious mind, that mind is in control and not his actual, conscious mind. His subconscious is making the rulings. And I don't trust either one of them. And I wouldn't, that's where we're going to head to is when is everybody going to figure out that, if you got a complaint, phone your government. If you don't like something, take somebody to court. How well did that work for anybody? Because nobody's answering nobody's calls and nobody's interested in finding anything that's just. Peace out.